Hello, FACEIT fans. We've got more action for you today, and it's going to be Toronto Defiant, the undisputed kings of North America, against Luminosity Gaming. Now, Luminosity Gaming were actually on a pretty hot streak, really looked like they were going to cement themselves in that third place team, get the Dallas spot as we went into stage 2. They had a really busy schedule with Collegiate, and then they kind of fell off. Then we saw them actually lose to Citrus Nation last week as well, so Luminosity really desperate to stabilize themselves here, and is a very tough team to try and stabilize yourselves against. I think there's a lot of problems to solve for Luminosity. Is one, can they regain their form? Two, what comps do they play? They were playing Doom last week against Citrus Nation into Orisa. Didn't work out at all. What do they do against this Toronto team who have a lot of different looks? Maybe on the flip side for Toronto, that is the big question. Not will they win the game, or will they be dominant, or will they qualify at top 8 in North America? Probably. But how are they going to play? What styles are they going to lean into? Because as much as they are playing this FACEIT tournament, you have to think that their main focus still has to be that Dallas preparation. How are they getting ready for that? What comps are they having available to them for that? So we can also talk a little bit about the draft. Now, normally Luminosity ban Busen, Paricio, and Re66, but with a very small sample size because they hadn't played many of their games at this point. Meanwhile, Toronto always banned Shambali, but then have varied their bans a little bit. So I'll tell you the actual draft. I don't want to show you the match page because obviously it will see the results, and if some people want to watch it spoiler free, we can make that happen. So Toronto Defiant banned Samoa, quite common for them. Luminosity banned Busan, so want to avoid any of that bull comp someone might do to them. Then Nepal was picked by Toronto Defiant. When we go over to the hybrid version, Luminosity banned Paricio, so again, Dive is off the cards. They want to stay away from Dive. Toronto banned Eichenwald, and Midtown was the pick by Luminosity, so again, taking it to probably the least divey map out of that entire pool for hybrid. And then Toronto kicked off the bans for map 3 if we need it, where they banned Shambali. Luminosity banned Rialto, and this actually allowed Toronto to pick Route 66, which they will probably dive on as well, so potentially a dive problem to solve to Luminosity if they can get to map 3, but maybe we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Until then, we can just jump right on in. I think there's obviously a lot of players that teams will be or that fans will be quite invested in. A lot of the Toronto players obviously very high caliber, and for them it's very much a how well can they do. Everyone expects them to remain the kings of North America, but being the kings of North America is maybe not enough to be the kings of Dallas, which is maybe a weird sentence if you don't understand. The Dallas major, not geographically. But anyway, we'll go into Nepal Sanctum initially, and it's going to be normally a slower point-focused map for a lot of teams, and we're going to see maybe exactly that come out. Sigmas from both teams, Bap, Lucio from both teams, and even an Ash actually from Vision. Initially, we're going to get a bit more of a fight on this right-hand side between Sugar Free and Vega. And we see Vision actually peeking it a little bit as well. A very default setup by both teams, mirroring the positions. Trying to see if anyone can find that opening. Vision's going to peek back towards point now as it unlocks. One dink onto RuPaul. Another dink, though. Could do with focusing this point a little bit, potentially. Will dodge for rock. Has to be wary of this rail. Wants to try and bait this rail out. Misses for dynamite. And Toronto are actually forcing more of a point here. Oh, now he gets caught. RuPaul doesn't even use the rail actually in the end. I think RuPaul just catches him. He's going to get shut down, and Toronto just a little bit brave, a little bit bolder, forcing that point fight. And once they had Pika's advantage there, RuPaul and Merit just kept on holding that angle, refused to let Vision peek safely, and eventually he just gets it a little bit wrong and ends up falling to his death. King's actually far behind here, but it's an aggressive Kitsune rush all over false. He is getting taken for an absolute ride here, forced all the way out. He will fall down. There is a back cap going on by King, meanwhile. So while they clean up a fight in the front, they have to deal with this behind, and Vega's awfully low, but now all of a sudden, King has no HP. Sugar Free has cleaned him up. And they'll hold for choke. Decisive and quick from Toronto Defiant. Interesting to see them still running the Kiri with this version as well. One thing the Kiri does allow you to do on this map is, even though generally the slower it is, the better it is for BAP because there's more shooting involved, is the Kiri can always TP to overload the flank at certain moments, and your Sigma can just play slow. Not seen any of that so far, but there's always the option. Vega actually takes a load of damage on the cross here. Now the Flux comes out into false. He should be okay. We're going to beat back. I don't know if that was needed, actually. Now the window from Squid. Pulse Bomb attempt from Sugar Free is no good. Toronto have disengaged all of this, but they have lost Sugar Free in the process, which means the point's going to flip over. 67% is all they will get, but they do get to come back with a beat advantage and overclock. I think in general, how we expect this fight to go is Vision's probably going to use his Bob mostly to deal with point. False has a chance to use that Flux to force out a beat early as well. So if you can stop this beat being a push onto you and force it to be defensive, there we go. False is going to drop it relatively early, and Vega actually gets caught. Vega gets caught. It's an Ajax. Where's the beat? There's no beat. We saw Vega trying to cross here in front of everyone. He just gets picked off. Huge Ajax, and this is actually a massive swing in terms of the ult economy. They do have to use the Bob as well, which means it probably ends up feeling a bit more expensive than Luminosity ultimately would have liked, but take nothing away. The play was made. They're going to get a someone kill in spawn as well. They'll go back to the close hold. No last-minute trades for Sugar Free. And now they can hold close. Kitsune Rush available for RuPaul, and someone's going to go Winston. He loves this swap into Sigma, and he's going to make it here. The nice thing about Kiri, obviously, is it transitions into this dive comp quite nicely, so expect a lot of aggression here from Toronto. They immediately want to wrap around. Can take a look at RuPaul. I think he wants to follow someone's jump in, try and drop the Kitsune Rush behind him. Connect with this Baptiste on this Ashe. Here we go. TP in, Kitsune Rush over Sigma. They are going to be plowing on forward, disengage. Can they get out? Can they get out? No! False will get caught. They got their man. They force them all out. They have control of the point now and a chance to hold this one down. They even catch Squid late. Where was Squid going on that one? I guess he was trying to help King out, but ultimately they're both going to die for it. It's going to be one more fight. No ults just yet as False and Vision make swaps. And now just a Ram cast Bat rush. Looks like Toronto are pretty keen to go early with this one here. Might even be Sugar Free sneaking all the way in behind. They do have the window, but Sugar Free is in behind him here. Juby's going to try and mark him, is pushed away. They catch someone in the front. Meanwhile, this window keeps everyone alive. It's a 1-for-1 trade. King is dead, so someone else needs to get to the touch. And Sugar Free's, he's going to try and clean up everyone behind, but no, he has to go back to point. Will be a disengage here. Toronto don't need to dive in this cap here. They have plenty of time, and they'll come back now with almost all of their ultimates except for this Kitsune Rush. Overclock to start it. Primal and beat just around the corner. Juby has to get good value out of this beat. If we can get Vision or False up to an ult, it could be really useful. Don't need to rush this fight though. King can match initially. Someone's going to take some stage and space on this left. Looks like Merit wants to start it with Overclock. They can force point with this Overclock if they want as well. They don't have to go in, but they are going to go in. Takes one shot at King, misses it. Now one onto Vision. Second one connects onto Vision. Now they are forced all to TP. Beat comes out. Can they turn any kills with it? King is super low under beat, and Toronto have skirted away from this beat. No beat value. Later beat now from Vega. And I think there's nowhere to go. Juby's going to be able to get one more touch, but he needs a miracle. And he's caught by a rail. And they'll get the cleanup in the end there from Toronto. But honestly, that Flux... The Flux into Ajax nearly swung it for him there. And ultimately, if they hadn't have lost to that Overclock, it felt like it should have been pretty DP-able, that Overclock. It's a pretty straightforward angle for False to mark. But they still managed to find the kill. Vision takes 2 shots, and then they lose King on point. And maybe would have enjoyed to see them be more aggressive with the beat as well. Maybe it's a little bit tricky into the Winston. But it's definitely a world where I sort of look at it and go, they let someone stage for free, then they kind of let Toronto do everything they wanted to in terms of, can I force point with Overclock? Yes. Can I take all the space? Yes. And by the time Juby beats, he's beaten to try and save people. And if you're beaten to save people, quite often they're on the back foot, and it's hard for them to actually convert kills with the beat, as opposed to just finding an aggressive timing with the beat. And we're now going to get Mauga Genji, which is a comp Toronto have been toying with more and more and more. And the idea is aggression. Dash and slam if they can connect these two things. Just like this. They get the slam in the corner. The Ram is separated, and the Ram has this horrible situation where he's got to block this way and he's got to block this way. But he can't. He can only face one direction at a time. And he's the one who ends up being first picked here. King might be making a move onto the flank here. I think he gets spotted out or gives away his position. Either way, they know where he is now. And will be a push through the choke here, potentially. Sugar Free looking for the angle as Luminosity are going to swing out here. Chance onto Squid. Squid will lamp himself. Slow now makes his life hard, but they've changed the ordering here, actually, slightly, Toronto. So what used to happen quite a lot when they originally played this comp is the Malg would use Overrun to go in, try and hit the slam, and Sugar Free would be following up with the dash. So if anyone got slammed, anyone got hit, Sugar Free would be there for the pounce. But now what they're doing is they're sending Sugar Free in first quite aggressively with his dash. Obviously, he has the deflex to keep himself alive. And then someone is using this distraction to try and hit the slam. And then obviously once someone joins Sugar Free here, he can drop the Cardiac Overdrive and make them both try and live. So they've changed the ordering slightly here, Toronto. And it's going to be an Orisa swap from False to try and deal with this. Now remember, Orisa has been heavily nerfed since last time. Disruptor shot on the high ground. Slow and steady fight. Toronto have conceded a lot of space here, and Sugar Free has to deflect on point, so he's a little bit vulnerable. King is going to use this as an opportunity to take a step onto point. Vega's there to help. They try and slam through. The window is up. Squid needs a little bit of help. False is turning back. Juby has the beat to keep him alive. Vega does not have the beat yet, so this beat might push him over top. False is all over Merit. Juby finishes that one. They've got the flip in the midst of this as well. RuPaul desperately trying to trade, but the push is good. The beat is sooner. And it costs them quite a bit. But they get the retake. They're back in control. Squid's going to come back on Kiri now. So a few more opportunities to avoid and circumvent these big cooldowns. We can cleanse the slam now from someone. Or even TP away from it. Coming through the low ground now here. Vision can start this one with Overclock as soon as he sees enough people. If they can get something out. Oh, someone's just killed False. How on earth has that happened? Now Vision has to backtrack massively. It's a clutch if they want to go for it, but it might not be worth it. Merit is low there, so Vision keeps him at bay, but Toronto have got the point just off that Orisa kill. Don't know what happened there. It just seemed a little bit too easy. Too easy for Toronto to walk out and kill the Orisa. Now the blade comes in. Sugar Free wants to go early. They're trying to keep Vision alive. They beat over top to keep going. They're going to try and kill him in spawn here. They get one kill, but one kill for two ults. And King has C9'd them. That's a disaster for Toronto. King now. Oh, can't quite hit the pulse bomb. Merit's a little bit split. King chooses to live in this situation. And now look at this. Luminosity coming back. They have to play against Cage. But they've got the Terror Surge. They've got it. Someone's going for the Cage here. Can't find anyone. Vision has overclocked in aggressively, but no, where's the peel? No Suzu. Vision's going to get shut down. So now player advantage. Cage opportunity on the point. Someone's going to drop it. False is going to be able to walk out. Terror Surges everyone, but there's no follow-up. They're all weak on the side of Toronto. Squid gets one. Can they get any more? Vega is super low. Where are the finishes? Squid's got a second one. Juby's still in the fight as well. They're regrouping on point. Someone is high on health. Sugar Free manages to kill King. Now the Kitsune Rush coming back. Vision's here just in time. Someone's going to get beamed. Luminosity are not done yet. They did lose the cap. So there'll be another chance for Toronto. But a big Terror Surge by Falsenet puts them all low. Then Juby and Squid come in. Squid gets two. And they have a chance. They're going to have to play against a Kitsune Rush now. False also on the Ram now instead of the Orisa. Someone has gone Winsome. Juby has beat for this next fight. Squid and Vision on high ground. Squid has to be a little bit careful here. They're trying to poke out RuPaul. They actually just catch RuPaul for free. Just a free one. Someone's weak in main, and Toronto trying to very split retake. They get caught on both sides, and now they're pushed all the way back to spawn. Looking for more. Need to be careful. Vision is up in the spawn. They want to kill Merit. Merit is in trouble. He has got RuPaul to pocket him now, and this should force Luminosity to take a back step. Someone is going to go Doomfist and try and get to point here. Juby still has the beat though, so even if this overclock and Kitsune Rush comes on, they have a chance to beat push afterwards. There's an overclock from the high ground. They're going to disengage it though. Try and get that one for free. They need to help False out. Kitsune Rush is available. Beat comes back, so they match support ults here. Juby in a spot of bother. Will be able to regroup. Vega's about to have a later beat, so they have to be ready to absorb this. They're trying to come through now. Dragon Blade over top, and ultimately the ults are too big. Toronto have the ult economy. They will be able to get this final retake. They will take map number 1. 2-0 on the pool. But they were made to work for it on both maps. And a couple of those fights go differently. And Toronto maybe don't even find themselves winning it. Let alone winning it 2-0. We'll move on to Midtown now. And Midtown is obviously Luminosity's pick. And even though in the pool, we didn't actually really see too much dive. A couple of Winston swaps into the Sigma. we didn't see all that much dive at all, and it's going to be a tricky one to dive here as well. So Toronto, once again, going to be forced to play a more broadly comp or something like they're on right now in terms of a bat brig. Looks like it might be a bat brig mirror, so we're going to get Luminosity coming as well. False remains in as well. So previous series against Citrus Nation, it was all Dante, all Doom. And this time, leaning into False a lot more on Luminosity. We'll see how they start. Luke Mino, obviously, mostly a flex support player, but can play main support as well. Generally, when you see him in, it means they are going to play some sort of Ana brig or Bat brig or something like that. Maybe they have the option for Lucio for certain points. But it looks like we're going Bat brig mirror. Ash for Merit. Vision on the Widow, actually. We've seen a few teams do this here on Midtown. Maybe more so on second and first, just because of the sight lines. It's quite a slow, brawly, pick-based meta. Grapple shot over the roof. Wait, Vision doesn't go all the way over. He's okay. And while they're doing this, Luke, Mino, and King are trying to work their way through this right-hand side alleyway from our POV. They're going to take Vega and Sugar Free. Bolt is trying to help with that battle as well, but he's also got to keep someone at bay. Just push him back for now. King quite advanced, and it's Vision who finds the pick and train. They weren't expecting that one. Vision's got the read now. False can walk into someone. The rest of his team are pushing point a little bit more, though. Need to make a decision about which way they go, but now Luke is going to join False, and they should be in a pretty good position to clean these people up in train. But no, Luke actually gets caught. Vega with the whip shot angle. A little bit of indecision there from Luminosity about which way are they clearing first. And now this has opened the door for a retake. Squid has the lamp onto point for King, but that means he's left False. Oh, they were so split. They were so divided there, Toronto. But Luminosity not able to clear one side at a time. They'll get cleaned up. And now Toronto didn't even give a tick. Didn't even give a tick for that. They did really well. Vision got an angle that Toronto weren't expecting. Gets that opening pick, and then they're unable to convert the 5v4. These are the fights that will drive you mad if you're a team. You get the advantage, you do the hard bit, and then you cannot convert the 5v4. Now we'll go into the ult portion of the fight, and it's going to be window for RuPaul. Squids are slightly slower, but he'll still have it. Fluxes will come up mid-fight. Rallies maybe even come up mid-fight as well. Chance to start with window, and that's the typical one. Someone is now paying a lot more attention to this train angle that Vision got the pick from. But that's allowed False a little bit more space there. Get onto Sugar Free here, and that's where the kill comes. That's where the kill comes. Vision still responsible for that pick. Now Pulse Bomb over top, Lamp onto Vega, but he's all alone, and he is taken down. Now surely, are they going to go clear train, or do they just force point? They choose not. They're just going to stack point here, which means someone in RuPaul. The retake is on. Sugar Free can get the touch for him. They have to start walking. Wolves will be used. Someone in RuPaul are going close now. Window aggressively onto point. They're going to try and get out. Flux onto the window, but it's cancelled, actually. Vision takes him out of the sky. It's a no-fly zone. And Luminosity, on the second attempt, crack open first point, and seems pretty reasonable there, actually. Luminosity, really textbook in terms of how they're taking the angles, how they're trying to read what the other team are doing. Oh, they're putting loads of attention on our Widow. Then my Sigma's more free to push and help the flank, get the kill with Sugar Free. Or there's maybe a lot of attention on my flank. Maybe it means my Widow's free to take a more aggressive angle. Now a rally trade aggressively on this high ground. Luke Mino's going to block for Pulse. He's forced off for high ground, though. False has to backpedal right now. Squid is super in there. Sugar Free's going to dive on him, but Squid still has Lamp. They're falling back. And Vision now has this angle with Hanzo, but he's forced out. They're dropping down onto Squid. Toronto do not want to let him out. Downtown Rock onto RuPaul. But it's not enough. And Toronto win that brawl. They held for more aggressive space. Squid ended up in a real predicament there. Two involved in the brawl, stuck underneath them. I don't know if there was maybe there was a point here where they wanted to turn this rally trade into just go underneath and stabilize. But Vision wasn't with them, so it was a little bit awkward. Either way, Squid probably ends up in a position he ultimately regrets. And now we'll go back to attacking this second point. Vision is on the cast now. Merit is on Ash still. Bob available from the high ground. Will be a classic Brig Tracer matchup on this right-hand side as Vision is just trying to tiptoe the point in. Sugar Free trying to be aggressive. King's gone to force for point, so Luke Mina will watch this right-hand flank, and the point is now moving away from Toronto. So no need to rush. Bob comes through. False gives it a wiggle, catches a rock, and then gets booped out of the lamp. False needs all kind of help. The rest of Luminosity take a back step. They do kill Bob, but they've traded their Sigma for it, so it ends up not being worth it. False made the initial move, gets out of the way of for Bob. but not able to actually get out of there. Then booped out of the lamp. Nice boop from Vega to finish it. Didn't really have any ults in that one, so it was always going to be a little bit trickier for Luminosity. This part of the map we're on now in general, in a bat brig mirror, is a nightmare to attack. It's so hard. They do have window. Chance to maybe be aggressive on one of these ledges with the window if they want. You see Vision in position for that now. King's actually just going to move the point a little bit further. Merit's going to catch Vision, though, but that doesn't really slow him down all that much. King's still got the point about as far as you would expect him to. Will blink all the way out. The lamp's a little bit late. They post-bomb someone. They want to trade him, but someone has Matrix still, so he's just going to Matrix through. Just a couple of picks. And the nice thing for Toronto is they get these couple of picks, which means they just win the fight without investing ultimates, which means they get to keep sitting on this pretty healthy bank of ultimates. And if you have ults to mirror in the bat brig, holding your ground is really reasonable a lot of the time. Trying to come through. It's an aggressive rally push now. False is looking for the defensive. Flux is bashed. He's killed, though. Lumino has rallied back, but now without the Sigma, they're going to have to keep conceding the space here. And Toronto wants to take everything from them. Pulse bomb over the top. Lumino down. Everyone else has scattered, but Squid is still in the trenches. He's 1v5. They're all coming for him. There's no way out for Squiddy. Vision's made his way all the way back to the other side of Train, and I mean, Sugar Free might not be done with him yet. They're looking for him. Vision's going to come back up Train. Does Merit know? Merit knows he's found out. Now the Flux comes through from someone as they clear Vision. Lamp is down. They blocks for Rock. They de-peek the window, but Merit has cleaned up Vision behind now. Someone can keep focusing on the point as this Bob comes in. 15 seconds left, so this touch could be difficult, but Bob has evaporated. Someone is keeping them pinned back in here. Rock connects, actually, and someone will die for it as well. False with the Sigma gap. Window came in from RuPaul as well, but now there's a chance for him to move, but time is against them. Toronto held for spawn. They know how hard the touch would be. King couldn't work his way through. And ultimately, a very strong hold for Toronto on Midtown. As much as it's a really difficult point to attack in a bat brig mirror, if they play the same matchup here, the reverse is then true. It's still quite holdable. The problem is if we go look at the yellow box of victory, if it'll appear in a second when the Assemble Your Heroes is finished. But I'm pretty sure it was only around here. I don't think King got it much past here, because even though Sugar Free was playing here, this like alleyway a lot of the time, it was around here where Sugar Free could get like full pocket. He would drop and stop it. So I don't think they have much past this alleyway, which means they essentially have to hold this high ground at all costs. Oh wow, it wasn't even as far as I thought it was. It's actually underneath the bridge. So this is a really tricky one as well, because then what can happen is if they can force it to here, Toronto, then their Tracer keeps pressuring to C9. You can put so much pressure on the C9 here. Now it's going to make it really difficult for Luminosity to stay on this high ground where they want, but also manage making sure they don't lose the fight underneath. So a really tricky situation for Luminosity once they get to second. Honestly, the best way to avoid that situation on second, just full hold them. That'd be my advice. Just full hold them, and you don't have to worry about that second. Easiest way. It looks like we are going to get the same type of mirror. Vision on the Hanzo. Something we've seen Happy run increasingly on this map in particular. And Merit is going to fancies go on Widow. We saw Luminosity initially able to make a bit of space for Merit as he goes for the first grapple here. Nothing doing though. It'll be a slow and steady space take as we're used to seeing on Midtown. Another grapple shot from Merit. Nothing in his sights. This Tracer Brig battle rages on in the alleyway near Merit. He's going to try and overload it now if he can bait anyone to peek back here. Sugar Free, but no doing. So it goes back to main. Sees the BAP. Tries to bait the peek out of him. Squid too quick for him, though. Now looking for this Tracer on the left-hand side. King has to be careful not to go too far. Sugar Free wants to sucker him into that 1v1. Sucker him back into Merit's angle, but Merit's going to go main. One more grapple shot. Protected by the ladder there, Vision. Slow and steady. They've not baited anything. Oh, well, Sugar Free's found the pulse bomb kill. That'll do it. Could crack it open. Now pressure in main. Now the grapple shot. Can even go over if he wants here. Goes for it. A slow sliding body shot, and it feels like someone might have actually crushed him up top as well. Manages to get the flux through that rock. Kills both of them up top. And now they're going to cap first point. The retake is not possible. Not on a bat brig composition. Not when he didn't get any trades. If they catch someone here, it's maybe possible, but it's going to be too hard. And they're going to have to hold close. And this means the time bank is going to be large. 4 minutes, 32 seconds. No further room for error for Luminosity in this series. Merritt's going to try and come left-hand side. I think King has spotted him there, so they should know he's going top. King actually wants to push him here. King has found Merritt isolated. We'll get that kill nice and easy. Chance for the rest of Luminosity to take a step forward now. Want the clean-up kills if they can. False on the right-hand side. Doesn't connect the rock. Sugar Free is dancing and juking his way out. RuPaul a little bit isolated on the right-hand side, but we'll be okay. Merritt is respawning soon. Worth noting, Vision is also on Widow now. Vision will be playing left-hand side with King. They're trying to come in different sides. Brig Tracer trying to clean this left-hand side now for Toronto. They force Vision back to his team. King is still there. He can still get packed from here from Lucamino. And it's going to be a window down main, but Toronto are wise to it. But someone's actually split from RuPaul here. They're going to turn onto him. They find the isolation. Well played there by Luminosity. The window didn't actually get anyone, but they noticed for disengaged different directions. But now, the trades! Merritt finds the headshot. Sugar Free finds the pulse bomb. Luke popped Rally in it as well, so it's a Rally Jacks mixed in. They kind of had to try and clutch that because of how close this box of victory is. Such a difficult situation. Now they'd won the fight. They'd got the pick. They'd done the ult stuff correctly. And then just Merritt and Sugar Free, they find those clutch plays. Now look at Vega. He is ready to go. He wants to pop this Rally aggressively. Blocks for Rock. Keeps going. Flux over top. They're going to kill the lab. Nowhere for Squid to go. Bash again over to False. A Flux Rally combo. And Vega and someone have sealed the deal surely here. Luke and King are trying to hold point. But no. They save KD. They save KD in the end. And it's ultimately over. And that'll be a pretty one-sided series. I don't think anyone's really surprised to see that Toronto won that series. It goes a lot of the time that Toronto. I expect it to win every game they play. M80 is going to be the big one for them next week, and until then, it's pretty much been business as usual for Toronto, beating even a lot of the stronger teams quite comfortably. We can take a quick look at the scoreboard if you like. I don't know if there's going to be any great insight to be gained here necessarily. We're going to have. This is round 1, so this is over on Nepal. Pretty even, relatively, considering obviously it was a 2-0 in favour of Toronto. Round 2, I don't know if there's too much that really stands out here either. Let's see. 16-1 for Sugar Free, actually. RuPaul 18-1 as well, so Midtown, actually RuPaul, Sugar Free, relatively uncontested. So yeah, pretty low scores across the board, honestly. Maybe what you expect. Maybe what's interesting as well is someone actually with a pretty large damage gap on False. I mean, you can't see False's here, but False's damage is 9.3k compared to the 13k. Obviously, Toronto did also win that map by quite large margins as well. But I think a lot of bigger fluxes there over for someone. And yeah, I kind of not too much to read into here. It's what you expect from a scoreboard where a team wins both maps, especially wins the second map quite comfortably. The problem now, I think, if you're Luminosity, is maybe losing this game is a little bit whatever. You don't expect to beat Toronto, but the problem maybe still stands of exactly what direction they go in the meta. There's obviously going to be a patch very soon, which might shift that again. They don't look that bad, honestly. For a team that have maybe not had a very good series of results lately, a lot of the things they're doing in terms of the way they're using their ults and the structure seems pretty good. They're losing a lot of situations where they have player advantage, which is obviously going to suck. There's no other way to put it. It sucks when you lose those situations because they should be yours to control and yours to convert. So not converting them is going to really hurt. Other than that, I don't know. I thought False actually played okay. I think Squid actually had a pretty reasonable game overall as well. On the side of Toronto, it's probably where we're going for our player of the match, right? I think if I had to pick someone, probably Sugar Free. It was sort of like a quiet, composed. Everything he did just sort of worked. Founder Pulse Bomb kills. It would either be him or Rupal. I think Rupal had a pretty good game as well in terms of ults. Everything seemed to work. Kiriko ults connected, everything like this. But I think Sugar Free is a really reasonable one. Always one of her better performers, especially on Tracer. Always gets these crazy KDs, very rarely dies, finds for key pulse bombs when he needs, and a pretty by the books win, I think, for Toronto here. So thank you very much for watching. That will be the last one if you've watched these in order from week 2 and round 3 and 4, and we'll be bringing you more of next week's coverage coming up. So stay tuned to the channel. Thank you very much.